Setting the right price on your product or service can have a big effect on your number of sales. Today we're going to talk about pricing objectives and strategy. To start out, there are 5 pricing objectives. The first is to achieve a target return on profit. What does this mean? When pricing a product or service, you want to ensure that the price is greater than all of the costs to make that product or service. Naturally, businesses want to make a profit on what they're selling. For example, a company that sells cashews may reduce the amount of cashews in a bag in order to increase their profit margin. The second pricing objective is to build traffic. This can be done through using loss leaders. Loss leaders are when a store sells and advertises a product below cost in order to get people into the store. Let's say it's back to school shopping time. Walmart might offer 3-ring binders below the cost of what it takes to produce them. This might get people into the store to purchase those binders, and then while they're there, they purchase several other items, which generally will make up the difference, so that Walmart can still make a profit. Third pricing objective is to increase market share. This means that a store might offer lower prices in order to get more customers. They may have less profit on each item they sell, but because they have so many people purchasing items, it results in a good profit. The fourth pricing objective is creating an image. Some businesses might price their items really high in order to give customers the feeling of high status or exclusivity. Think of Burberry or Coach, any high-end store. Lastly, we have furthering social objectives. For example, an organization might set a price really low so that people can afford it. A good example of this is that the government might subsidize a farm so that milk and bread costs can be lower. Now we'll move on to the 3 major approaches to pricing strategy, and the first is cost-based pricing. Cost-based pricing includes the total cost of a product plus the profit margin. So for a car, you would take all the costs that go into making that car, the labor, the parts, the shipping, and after determining your price for producing the car, you would decide what type of profit you'd like to make, and that's how you'd set your price. Next, you have demand-based pricing, which is based on target costing. It satisfies the customer and it meets the set profit margins. You first determine what a customer would be willing to pay for said product, then you subtract your desired profit margin, and you come up with the amount of money you can spend on production. Think of a laptop. It needs to be a product that satisfies the customer and has all the components they want, but it also has to be at a cost that people are willing to spend. So determine all the components you want to have in the laptop and then subtract your profit margin and see what the cost is. If it's still too expensive, you might have to reduce more of the components or use lower quality material. And third, we have competition-based pricing. Businesses will choose to set their price at either equal to, above, or below competitor prices. They will consider their perceived differences and customer loyalty. Let's consider fast food hamburgers. One hamburger shop might sell their burger for $3. They use heavily processed meat and bread, and a competitor might sell theirs for $4. However, they use fresh bread and fresh meat. The company that sells it for $4 realizes that there is a difference between their 2 hamburgers and the quality, so they can still do well and succeed with a slightly higher price. Along with competition-based pricing is price leadership, in which a dominant business sets the prices that all other businesses follow. You might think of gas and oil. A very key component of pricing is completing a break-even analysis. A break-even analysis tells you how profitable you'll be at various levels of sales. So if you sell 10 units, you'll be this profitable. If you sell 50 units, you'll be this profitable. It also helps you to determine how many units you need to sell in order to make a profit. This is called the break-even point. To find your break-even point, you add up all of your total fixed costs, which includes anything that doesn't change based on your number of sales, such as rent for the building and business insurance. And then you divide the price of 1 unit minus the variable cost. The price of 1 unit is what you decide to charge the consumer. And then variable costs are costs that change according to how many items are made. So an example of variable costs would be the cost of labor and the cost of the materials for making a product. You then have a starting point for understanding how many items you need to sell in order to break even. Okay, now I want to quickly mention 5 other pricing strategies. The first is skimming. Skimming is when a company sets the price of a product high at first in order to help recoup some of the research and development cost. Let's say a brand new technology device comes out. When it first comes out, they might price it really high, and then over time, as competitors come out, they'll lower their price. Next, we have the penetration strategy. This is when a business introduces a new item to the market, but sets the price really low. By setting the price low, it discourages competitors because there isn't as much profit. It also enables to get more purchases for that product and sell that item quicker. There's also the everyday low price strategy. This strategy is when a company sets their prices lower than all the other competitors in order for consumers to be able to come in and always get a good deal rather than needing to wait for a sale. Next, we have the high-low pricing strategy. And with this strategy, prices are generally higher than the everyday low price stores, but when they have a sale, the price can be quite a bit lower for that particular item. And lastly, we have psychological pricing, which is basically just setting price points that make the cost appear lower than it actually is, such as pricing some earbuds at $19.99 rather than $20. Today, as an overview, we covered 5 pricing objectives, 3 major approaches to pricing strategy, break-even analysis, and 5 other pricing strategies. Thanks for watching.
Created using Powtoon.